Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jared Michelson.
I'm Antoine Beeks.
Oh man, how how you feeling about the week overall, man? Week 13.
You know, I was just happy to have escaped with no injuries on my behalf.
Well, then let's get into the injuries and talk on who suffered here, i.e., me.
Yeah,
who?
you.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about Tank
you for
Dell
sure.
and what that means for fantasy players, what that means for the people the other people on the Texans. Whether it's was it Breven Jordan, I believe. The tight end. Does he get more
And he
targets?
stepped up big time.
Yep. Noah Brown. So guys like that who were a little quiet last week, even post injury, but now that they're getting more reps in with CJ Stroud and the first team, those guys are guys to look at on the waiver. We're going to kind of blend things together here. We're going to talk a little waiver with the injuries. So that way you get it all kind of as the conversation happens. So that we're not just listing off people at the end, just, blasting at you guys one after another for waiver wire people. Yeah, I think if you have a tight end because of the injury to Dalton Schultz too, right? The week prior. Man, there's some targets to go around. I mean, that's gotta be what, 8 targets a game just from Tank Dell, and then you go obviously with Dalton Schultz, 4 or 5 targets and spread back out between those guys. So 13 targets to float, 12 to 13 targets to float around. I mean, the way that CJ Stroud's playing, that's you give somebody 8 of those 8 targets, that's a 100-yard game, man. So
Yeah, Nico Collins went off last week just because of Tank Dell was out.
exactly. So and now you add a couple other pieces that he's going to need to rely on. And weirdly enough, Dameon Pierce was a lot more involved compared to Singletary. He wasn't very effective, but he did get a touchdown, right? So he wasn't effective, as he never is. But does he now maybe get a few more targets out of the backfield? Does this elevate him at all?
I don't think so. I think he is what he is. I mean, I think CJ Stroud is who he is, right? He is one who is not afraid to let that ball rip, right? He ain't checking for checkdowns, brother. He trying to go get first downs and touchdowns. You hear me? Ain't not dinking and dunking.
Yeah,
Um,
he's not. That's 100.
but
percent
it does open up the question to Bevan Jordan.
Yeah,
Um,
3 for 64
um,
last week, so I already got involved right away. And a nice one of 27 yards, so he's getting downfield, right? So athletic tight end and everything like that.
yeah, I don't think that it opens up anything more for the running backs. I think they are who they are, right? I think you still don't start them. I had to come to the grips of not starting Dameon Pierce, even where I drafted him. He was my first selection in running back, right?
Yeah. Oh, we need to talk about one of these days how our draft strategies have gone.
Even with that being said, right now, I think it's both proven to be somewhat successful.
Yeah, I mean, both can go either way depending on injury. Injuries can derail anybody's draft strategy. So that's the one thing you can't account for is like, well, what were the injuries like? Well, you could say running backs get hurt all the time, but I just lost Tank Dell. He's not a running back.
Yeah. That Tank Dell injury, man, how do you feel like that's gonna hurt you going into the playoffs?
Largely, he was a wide receiver one for the last uh 4 weeks, I think it was. So, like, man, I don't have a lot to fill that void because I felt like I had 3 1s with Debo, with Tyreek Hill, and with Tank Dell, and it showed because I lost this week because he put up 0, obviously, because he wasn't in the game to play and to get his normal targets and reps. So it showed right away. My first loss, Tank Dell gone.
And you were just on a cruising streak, right?
I was just cruising 8-game win streak, and I was cruising to 9. I thought, but that Tank Dell injury killed me. It showed. So, but that's all right. Speaking of other, moments and injuries and stuff like that, so Kenny Pickett's hurt, right? An ankle injury. going under surgery. Trubisky's back, your boy, because don't tell me he's not. You've been hyping Trubisky over Pickett, even though we talked about last week, our last episode, like they're really the same guy at the end of the day. Like, what does this mean for the Steelers receivers? And what does this mean for the tight end fire means? And does this mean that they just run the ball all the time? Is this going to be the world of Najee and Jalen Waddle? And that's the only people you
Warren, Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren, excuse me. Yes.
I think with that, I think you have to look at it and be like, hey, look, this is what it is. And don't start anybody.
Really?
I think you don't start anybody.
You don't think that this is just the same offense continued? Like in my mind, it's kind of like I think you can still start, and this is gonna like blow your mind, but still start Najee and still start Warren, and they're gonna be kind of the same guys. The offense really doesn't change that much, and Trubisky's been there, so he knows what to run, right? So it can't be any worse.
Did you just say start Najee?
Look, man, I know I threw up a little bit in my mouth. Like, hard to like say.
Yes, yes, start Najee.
Yeah, man, it was hard to say, but the state of RBs and the quality of RBs that we have this year, there's not that many good ones. Like, I'm not saying like he's going to be your number 2, but your number 3, sure, why not? As a flex play, I mean, he's getting the reps, right? So I can't argue that. Stats tell me he's getting that work. What he does with it for 3.9 yards a carry, I can't control that. But
hey, I'll take 3.9 yards. That's a first down.
At least he's on the field and he's at least going forward. So
yeah,
so fine. I didn't want to say it. It hurts me to say it, but he's started. So who am I to argue with stats?
yeah. I mean, I think that they get. I mean, like you said, Jalen Warren and Najee Harris have been RB3s, right? They haven't been anything great. So, I mean, at this point, if you have a wide receiver 3, I think that you just go out there and play on that because Trubisky's not having much success in the league overall as is. You know, I don't think he go out there and do any better than what Kenny Pickett has done.
I just wonder if he just has as at the point in his career, because you see this with quarterbacks. I think, and certain Geno Smith is a good example. Like, ethic. Like, I don't know how much time I really have. Let's just go rip this thing. Whatever happens, happens.
No, that's not him. That's not him. That's Jameis Winston.
Yeah, James Winston's been like that even before the like even before coming to back. He's always been that. That's 100%. He's just sling that thing.
Speaking of Jameis Winston and injuries, Derek Carr's out.
Yeah, famous Jameis is back up. Famous Jameis is back in the starting lineup. And the thing is, like, this is another situation, just like the Steelers one, where I don't think that changes so much. I don't see so far difference between Carr and Jameis. In fact, I think for the receivers that go downfield, the Raheem Shaheeds and guys like that, I think that helps because Jameis will sling that thing. He does not care. He is going to be like, you know what? Send it. If you get it, you get it.
So as Jameis is being a quarterback, do you go out and get a player like Rashid Shaheed off waivers and start him?
Oh, yeah. Especially because it's only Olave, right? It's Olave and then who else? They're not a great passing team, but there's still opportunity, right? Like you saw Jimmy Graham get a touchdown this week. That can easily be Shaheed. That without a doubt. So I do think there's opportunity there. There has to be targets going somewhere. They can't rely on running the ball all the time. What it really does, though, is I think it takes away from Kamara because Derek Carr dumps off, right? So Kamara gets like very low quality targets, but he gets those targets and those catches. So 2 or 3 yards, but that's still 1.2 points. You know, if he gets a 2-yard catch, who cares? That's 1.2 going on your stat sheet, right? I think that takes away from that because he's not going to be like, no, dump off. No. Throwing it for 40, whether you get it or not, I don't care.
Whether it's picked off or not, I'm going
Yeah, I
to
don't
the
care.
field.
It's going. So I'm just throwing it to somebody in a jersey. Don't care what color the jersey is. I just gonna hit somebody in a jersey. So.
Right.
So looking at the schedule for the New Orleans Saints. So for QBs, they have a 3-star from Fantasy Pros on their schedule. So, kind of average for the rest of the season for who they go up against. Now, that being said, looking at their opponents, let me see if I can find Jameis real quick and see who the next upcoming schedule is. When my computer keeps locking up right now, so bear with me here. Oh, Google Chrome just crashed. Cool. Good job, Google Chrome. So cool.
You want to know who the next opponent is for?
Yeah, what we're looking at for the Saints, who's coming up.
The Saints play, drum roll, please.
Tennessee.
The Carolina Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Yeah, you can start whoever you need on that one. Oh yeah. First, there was the Carolina Panthers. You can just play whomever. That defense is atrocious. That whole team's atrocious. So start all your Saints for sure. Kamara, if he does play, because I think he was also injured. So if he does play, bring him back in. Obviously, Chris Olave, you just need to this. It's probably one of the best games of the year for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do think with those injuries or with that, I don't think there's a much drop off in you should with the upcoming schedule in week 14, you're good. Start your Saints. Ramondre Stevenson also was hurt, so that's gonna be interesting. He's got an ankle injury. Came back nigger, but he can still miss some time. So it's like if Zeke's out there.
Go get Zeke.
And again, these are two times a day. Am I just struggling to say these because I'm hating on Zeke all season. I'll say that straight up. And I've been hating on Najee. Well, now they're startable. So
who was right? Your boy right here was right.
For it to be right. For not for Najee. You got Najee. I'll give you that one. He's still got the roll back, so I'll give you that one. But Zeke got lucky with his injury to Ramondre. Otherwise, he's basically non-factor.
Yeah, only because just like Jabril Pepper said that their team is ass.
Yeah, well, he's right. They are ass.
If they was better, I think Zeke would get more touches.
No. If it was better, Ramondre would get more touches.
Nah.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of more touches, Tajay Spears. If Derrick Henry misses time, I think that's clutch. He looked good. And the touches he had, he is like these running backs that have been drafted the last few years are so fast. Like Keith Mitchell, Tajay Spears, Jalen Warren, like these guys can move, man. It's crazy. So I'm very interested to see what he can do in the upcoming matchup. Let's see who they have in the. Oh, I guess they have the Dolphins. So
yeah, good luck with that one.
That's a medium matchup. That's a medium. That they're not like elite run stoppers because like I think the linebacker Phillips, Jalen Phillips or whatever. I think he's still hurt. So and he's a clutch. Achilles. What's that?
He tore his Achilles.
Yeah, so he's out, right? So it's like that middle of the field is a little more susceptible. You know what I'm saying? So they can still do work, and he's going to get the work because again they let Will Levis throw, but not aggressively, right? They're not putting the game on his back like that. So I think
they're gonna have to in this one because Miami's gonna be up 38-0 in like a blink of an eye.
Good. That means he can get some garbage time. Remember, garbage time still counts. So if he has to get 100 yards against the second unit, that's 100 yards whether it's first or second unit. All right, we talking about this out there. I do not care. You give me 100 yards against that's still the same points.
That's fair. That's fair.
So I think that's something that people forget is like garbage time is a factor. And I am cool with getting garbage time points. Give me those all day. Makes no difference to me.
Hey, give me all the points possible.
In fact, if they can go up 50-0 in like the second quarter, so the second unit has to come in, let's do that. Get that second unit out there faster.
No way. No way. He said, "Get the second group out there faster. I need
Yeah,
it now."
I'm trying to see what's going down here with Tajay and let him have an easy path to fantasy relevance.
He said, "I need it now. Get
Yep.
it now."
Yep. That is 100%. And man, I feel like there's a laundry list of injuries as I'm going through, like all the stuff that went down. I mean, I'm just gonna rattle off a few because I'm not gonna go through every this. It was a disaster week 13. Christian Watson hamstring, Brian Robinson concussion. If I'm correct, right? Oh, hamstring, excuse me. So that Antonio Gibson probably gonna be the next guy up there. Amari Cooper concussed. Marquise Brown injury. Like, what happened to week 13?
Playoff push. Everybody is playing too hard.
Yeah, man, it's kind of a disaster. So, one thing for quarterbacks, Jordan Love has the easiest upcoming strength of the schedule for the rest of the season. So, that being said, if he's on your waivers and you're desperate for quarterback, or you need somebody to fill some void if you were, crazy enough to start Carr or whatever for the season, I think Jordan Love is going to be it, man. I think he's going to be, as much as I was dogging on Green Bay all season, and I saw this crazy stat at the end of last week, week 12, where through the first 11 or 12 games, whatever it was for the players, season 11 games between him and Aaron Rodgers, the stats were the exact same all the way through. Same amount of touchdowns. I mean, it was so crazy that there was not one difference in yards, touchdowns, and then there were like two other stats, but they were literally the same through 11 games, like to the exact point. Not saying he's going to be Aaron Rodgers, but it showed that he can compete against good teams because he beat the Chiefs, right? So you can see that he's obviously a competitor, and they've rattled off some wins these last couple of weeks, so against some decent competition.
Ryan Tannehill's job is gone.
Should be gone. Should have been gone 2 years ago.
Should have never had it over Marcus Mariota.
I don't know, man. I watched Marcus Mariota in Atlanta, and then now watching for a short stint in Philly. I'm like, I like Marcus. You know what I'm saying? I like he's a family man. He's down there. He's a cool dude, whatever the case may be. But was he a second overall pick type of guy? Maybe not.
Depends on where you get drafted, man.
Yeah.
I think they didn't do him no justice in Tennessee.
No, I don't even know who he had for weapons when he was over there. I can't even think of who was there at his like early in his career that supported him, right? So I can agree with that. But yeah, that's a recap for some of the injuries. Good luck. I mean, good luck on the waivers, folks. I mean, there's holy cow. It's not. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's heavy, but there are definitely some people that can definitely help your team coming this week, and especially I think quarterback too, where I think Stafford could actually be helpful. I think obviously Jordan Love can be helpful if he's available. So those are two quarterbacks there. Something quick to talk about as we kind of dive into the recap of the Monday night game. So let's kind of swivel in there as we talk small bits about injury and everything. The one we didn't talk about is Trevor Lawrence and the ankle injury. And I want to say that to just talk about the Monday night game because how does this impact the players for Jacksonville? I want to start with that side. Then I want to ask a Browning question. So with CJ Beathard going out there, where are you ranking on like a wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4 scale, right? Where does why am I driving his name? Calvin Ridley lie? Where do you put Calvin Ridley?
One being the best wide receiver.
Well, I would say like a wide receiver 1, a wide receiver 2,
wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. I put him as a wide receiver 3. I think he's been a wide receiver 3. I think he's been a wide receiver 3 all year. CJ Beathard obviously isn't going to help that cause. I think the reason why he's been getting off a little bit more these last couple of weeks with Trevor Lawrence is because Zay Jones is back. And you got another person to cover. You got somebody who understands that offense, who's been in that offense, who runs great routes, and who can get open. command a little bit more.
Well, and with that, Christian Kirk was also injured in this game. So not only Lawrence, but Christian Kirk. So now again, there's more targets available, right? So even if the quality of play drops, the amount of targets goes up with Kirk being out, right? So it's like, I guess I don't know.
But you know what though? You know what? I think they simplified the offense a little bit more as well for CJ Beathard to try to make a playoff push because they're not out the playoffs.
Throw here, throw
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. And a lot of those throws are gonna be bubble screens to Travis Etienne coming out the backfield.
That's exactly what I want to hear.
Not to forget about Dearness Johnson. I don't think Dearness Johnson is someone that you should start, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. I don't think he should start, but I mean, they're gonna simplify it a lot for CJ Beathard. You'd be surprised if you got anything out of your wide receivers there. I would suggest you not start any of those wide receivers.
Interesting.
Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk. So he's going under surgery. So we'll see because yeah, I agree with you. I don't think. I mean, Beth has been around a while. He's playing on some good teams. He's got some decent weapons there, but I don't think his quality of play and it showed during the kind of where he stepped. And again, he had to come in obviously a little underprepared, right? So I always give it one game post that to kind of see what that actually looks like. Because another crazy stat on the other side of this, we'll switch to the other side, is when you see a quarterback that has to step in the first time, Jake Browning in his partial game was terrible. In his second game, he wasn't great, but he actually threw like 80% of his passes or 70% of his passes, like complete. And in his third game, he actually threw 80%.
Dude went off. He was balling.
Exactly.
Let me tell you about Jake Browning. I was sat here on Sunday with you and was just so sad. Oh my God, man, I'm not gonna make the playoffs in my other league. And Brownie in a 2 QB league came through and lit it up. He and Jamar Chase, I got them both. And they lit it up and they saved my season. Shout out to Jake Browning. I think that if you have Bengals players, you start them. He's shown that he can get the ball out of his hands. He's shown that he's a good quarterback. A very serviceable backup. And I think that you're safe with starting all Cincinnati Bengals.
There we go.
Not unless some freak accident happened where they get hurt.
That was the exact content I was looking forward to ask that question. Thank you for responding well to that. That's exactly what I was wanting. And yeah, man, I think the Bengals, I think they'll be okay. I don't know if he can sustain two top talents. That's the thing I want to see. The difference between Burrow is Burrow could do two top talents in the same game, right? Can Browning do that? Can he elevate? I have Higgins, right? So, but I don't know if Higgins is going to have enough target and time or enough target and play to have quality games. Or if they're both going to have quality games, it's going to be one or the other. And obviously, he's already got a connection with Chase because Higgins was also injured for a few games when Browning took over. So, again, this is one of those things where I'm going to give Higgins one more week to kind of see what his connection develops into, and then I'll see if I can play him or not. Can I trust him as a 3-4, or is it like you're still on my bench? Because he can't do two. He's good, but not good enough for two players to sustain. So that's where I got to see. That's the thing. Is like I used to be very impatient. Like if you're not good that same game, I'm dropping you. You're done. I don't want nothing to do with it. But now I'm like, all right, let's chill out. Let's wait a game or two, and then we will see. And it paid off, right? You waited a game or two. You used Browning. You saw that he was at least serviceable. You had to use him. Look what happened.
I hope he can put together another good performance like that again. It doesn't have to be that crazy of a game, but at least try to hang up 15 to 20 points on a regular.
Yeah. Let's see what their schedule looks like here real quick. Oh yeah. Let's see here. Browning. I swear to goodness. There we go. Oh, he's got Baltimore. Right? Is it Baltimore?
Yeah, he does, and that's a strong defense. I think that they're just hoping that they can try and find some strides to get into the playoffs. But for us, we're talking strictly fantasy, and I think that Browning is gonna connect with Jamar Chase.
Oh no, he's got Indianapolis, so I think he's got it. He'll be fine. That's another good week for Browning. Yep. So yeah, I think you're right. I think they can connect with Chase. Obviously, he has a connection with Chase, right? He's going for over 100 plus yards and cooked. So definitely has that connection with Chase. And then going against defenses that are very average, you got Indianapolis, Minnesota. He's at Pittsburgh, so we'll see. Weather has been terrible so far on the East Coast. Either it's rainy or it's snowy. So I don't like those weather games because that ruined me with Kyler Murray and them. Kyler Murray played terrible, and that lost me. I was thinking about starting Stafford, right? And I was just about to drop Murray, and I should have. Because Stafford put up 31, which would have won me the week, But instead, I got Kyler Murray putting up 13. So I missed on.
Don't you hate that? That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game.
It is.
Sometimes you
And I
miss
did
on who
not
should
play the
start.
game well. And I lost my winning streak. But that being said, let's take a quick minute to talk about us. Let's be a little selfish. Speaking of our teams.
Oh man, let me be selfish. Let me go back and give Jake Browning another shout out, man, for saving my season. I was on
Crazy.
the sixth spot, man. I was in the sixth spot, the top 16 make it, and I was just in the verge of falling out. I thought I was losing. I thought I was gonna lose the game. And I thought I was just gonna be banking on this week coming up. Now I do have to win this week. I would like to win this week and can put myself in a different spot. But I won. I won. Jake Browning saved the day. I won. I moved from sixth to fourth, right? And now I'm trying to move from fourth to third. I mean, but even if I just make the playoffs, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for that. I told you I was gonna knock off Stezak. I got him this week.
Oh, that's right. You play him this week. Yeah, get some
Yeah.
revenge for
So
me. Because he just embarrassed me. I got the biggest margin of loss this week. It was like 80 points or something. I got freaking demolished. He's crushed me.
yeah, so I got Stezak in one of our leagues. Um and I'm looking at this team. Um, they're pretty much unstoppable. They have a lot of stuff going, and I'm really just hoping that the Lord be with me because this team is just stacked. But you know what though? I told you that we was gonna beat Steve Zach. I'm standing on that. We're gonna beat
Yeah,
him. And
represent,
in the
man.
other league, I got
That's now in this league for context. This is one that we talked about before, where we have 4, 9, and 4 people. Four. So anybody who wins, and if any of the 9 and 4 people lose, there is a chance that we can go for a bye. But the thing is, we all play. Every one of us good teams play the low end teams this week.
I played a
So,
number 7 seed.
and I think I got the number 9 seed.
Pimpington's Pimpin got number 6, and AZ Gorillas got Jet Shiesty.
At number
So
8. So like we're all playing like at the back end of the league. So it's like
yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. We do all have the bottom half. But you know what though? This is why I say don't give up
yeah.
because it's 4 of us. There's also 2 spots still available, right?
Yep.
And and there's anybody can get hot and they can ruin the seeding. If
Yeah.
we all make it, if we all win this week, I'm gonna be the 4th overall guy. Which at this point, it wouldn't really matter where the road goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to play somebody, right? I mean, you want the bye, gives you a better opportunity to get to the championship.
Yeah. So the thing is, I feel comfortable because I play whoever. If I go in as the 3rd seed, right? I play whoever is 6, and 4 and 5 go at it. I think I'm comfortable playing 6 because the people who are at 6 are all like 5 and 8, right? So it's like and their teams are shaky. They're a little, their injuries. They got a lot of stuff, kind of like a lot of woes, and they got a lot of waiver people that just didn't pan out. But you're going to have a tougher battle than me because you're going to get the 8-5 guy, possibly the 9-5 guy, depending, right? So I don't know if I want that beef. I'm confident in your team. You have a good team, so not like you couldn't do that and run with that, but so does he. The only thing that he doesn't have is if Najee's a little coming up hurt here, but
Ramondre Stevens is
and
really hurt,
Ramondre Stevenson. Actually, now I feel better about your matchup because he's missing his 2 top running backs. Ramondre, Najee's injured, and then with Brees Hall being kind of a whack, I feel better about where you're coming in. But he's on the Jets. Like Brees Hall himself is a good player. Brees Hall on the Jets is a bad player.
Hey man, anything's possible, man. He got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is out here laying eggs with his receivers.
Yeah, man,
right?
but Patrick Mahomes is so again, this is one of the things. This is why you don't draft quarterbacks early. This is the exact thing. Second or third round is the average for Patrick Mahomes. Some people draft him in the first in certain leagues, like option leagues and whatnot. I would be devastated if I drafted him that early. I'd be like, what? I could have had CeeDee Lamb in that round. You know what I'm saying? I could have had some talented people there. In some leagues, AJ Brown fell to those levels. Like, what are we doing? Stop doing it. Go get a quarterback later. CJ Stroud. You cooking. You do it just as well as Mahomes is. What are you doing? Oh man.
I'm a little excited about this week, man. I mean, you got to take care of business, right? This Pooper Scoopers team is no slouch. He just put up some numbers this past week with HN coming back, Kelsey putting up some numbers. DK was out of his mind this past week, and Lamar doing what Lamar does. I think Lamar was on a bye though, right? Wasn't he?
Lamar was on a bye. Yep.
But he also has Lamar, so we'll see.
It's gonna be a battle, man. It's gonna be a
the name of the game is take care of business, man.
Yep.
And we definitely got to go take care of some business.
I know. I can still lose this week too. I mean, like my guy's got Ridley, who could be okay. He's got Jamar Gibbs playing. Pollard's been coming on as of late. He's got DeAndre Swift. He's got DJ Moore. DJ Moore with Fields is a beast. When Fields is on the field with DJ Moore, it's Cooktown. I mean, the last 2 weeks it was 22 points from 22.6, 22.4. Like he's out here. So that scares me. If I didn't have Tyreek Hill to counter that scares me. But I got Tyreek Hill, so.
You got the best fantasy player of the year.
Oh man, that dude's just an automatic cheat code. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's first round pick I think I've ever drafted in my life.
Do you have any other leagues that you feel confident that you have a chance in?
Yeah, so I just beat the number 1 guy this last week in a auction league I'm in. So I've been holding third place down for a while. My team was middling for a little bit because in auction my strategy is I don't draft super high end. I wait till everybody else spends a bunch of money and I get a bunch of middle to high end guys for cheap. And that strategy was a little slow starting off because of Lamar Jackson and stuff like that. Like he was been shaky, but and then with Trevor Lawrence being shaky at the same time, it didn't help me, right? But they both kind of started playing a little bit better at the same time. And then with ETN being pretty consistent and Josh Jacobs actually kind of stepping up, my team has been cruising. I think I'm in a 4-game win streak in that league too. So I'm going to beat the playoffs in that league. And I think I could run in that league. I think I can do it. Now I beat the first place guy. I can do it. So for sure. And then who is the other league? Oh, my work league, but I don't even pay attention to that league that much. I don't really pay attention. I'm number 2 in that league, so in standing. So that one I can definitely win.
Yachty is fighting an uphill battle here.
Yeah, she's got to replace a few people because she lost Christian Kirk and Trevor Lawrence in the same game.
Yeah.
So but we're going to fix that team and we're going to make it work because I need her to win. I need her to just give me a chance. And
Man, I'm calling it. I'm going out on the limb, and I'm gonna call it right now. Sorry to say this to you, but I think you're gonna be the one upset this week. I
you
think
think
you're
so?
gonna get upset. I think Mardi Gras is gonna upset you.
I don't know. Yeah, he could. He put up good numbers last week. Oh no, he put up 110 last week. Never mind. He was on the lower end. I think if anything, you'll get upset.
And hey, and that's fair. That's fair. We can all get upset, but I think that Mardi Gras has the best opportunity to upset you. I think CJ
I
Stroud.
don't know, man. You gotta play Achan. You gotta play Kelsey. You gotta play Metcalf and Lamar. So
I'm not worried. Lamar. I'm not worried about Lamar. DK. I'm not worried about DK either. He had one game over 100 yards this year.
that's true. Only one.
Last week he blew the doors off, and now everybody's DK.
But
DK.
if
You know
Gino is
I love
playing
DK.
better, if Gino is playing better, that
I
is a
love
possibility.
DK, but I don't think that DK is blowing the doors off of anything like he did
But
last
who on
week,
your
right?
team is going to carry you? Because I don't trust Devontae. I trust AJ Brown. That's the only one, and Pacheco.
Hey, so I was just about to say Isaiah Pacheco has been carrying the load.
Pacheco has been good. Pacheco is probably one of your best sneak picks for the year.
He has definitely been one of my best sneak picks.
Yeah,
definitely sure. Has.
Yep, I'll give you that. I don't trust Hopkins.
I do. Him and Will Levis have been figuring it out. Him and Will Levis have been figuring it out.
Against Miami, against Jalen Ramsey.
I don't think Jalen Ramsey is following him all the way around. And I'll tell you one thing, they're going to have to throw the ball a lot because they're going to be down.
Yeah, they're going to throw the ball to somebody else that's not going to be bracket covered.
Hey, look, now you got me going over here. I might have to start Adam Thielen versus the New Orleans Saints.
Because like smart teams know how to take away the best player, right? It's not that DeAndre Hopkins isn't good. He's been better, right? And he's been actually pretty good for most of the season. But smart teams do that. They're like, you know what? He's the only guy you have, especially with Henry out. So, yeah, let's just take him away. And then we'll see what Will does,
Man, Adam Thielen has just been awful these last couple of weeks, though. 1.2, 5.5.
Well, now they're in the second game with their new offensive coordinator and new head coach, so maybe they're better.
No,
they're gonna be bad.
I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything over here. And also, just like you said, I think that the Buffalo Bills is gonna take Travis Kelce out the game, just because they're gonna know how to. And I'm not afraid of the.
No, the Buffalo Bills do not know how to take Travis Kelce. That is why they keep losing to Travis Kelce, because that's the same thing happened in the playoffs when you let him run wide open in the middle of the field and set him up for field goal position to go in overtime and lose. They can't cover Kelce for crap. They're terrible at it.
They'll cover him this time.
No, they will not. Their middle of the field game is awful. Their middle of the field game is awful. Sean McDermott needs to be fired just because of that. Just because
Sean McDermott, man, is
like he can't get past
Sean McDermott.
The Chiefs, and you think it's Patrick Mahomes dominating? No, it's Kelce just ruining his life.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that you picked me to get upset because I think that you got the best chance to get upset.
He has a good team. I do have a chance, and especially in the new offense where I think what the difference is going to be is I don't think it's going to be any of the guys I named. I think it's going to be Pickens. I think Pickens is actually going to get some work this week. And I think he's actually going to be like a 16-point player this week. And I think that's going to be the difference maker. Like, if he can step up and put up decent numbers, that puts me in a world of hurt because he doesn't really have a lot of other receivers that I'm scared of, right? Like, obviously, Ridley, he could be okay, right? He's going to get the targets because no one else is there. We're under a minute, but and he's got DJ Moore, who I am scared of. But Pickens is going to be the game changer.
Well, we'll see. You picked me, I picked you. Hopefully everything works out best for both of us, man.
All right, y'all. Till next time, we appreciate y'all. Stay tuned with us. Legendary Sports Podcast, Legendary Sports Podcast, excuse me. on Instagram.